Hi everyone. Welcome back to CSCI100, lecture 25. In this lecture, we're going to talk about class methods. So we're going to continue our discussion from last time and really see what makes object-oriented programming so powerful. And then for the second half of this lecture, I'm going to give some final remarks on the course, really tie everything together that we've done to one nice cohesive picture, and give some advice on where you go from here. So back to classes. Last class, we finished our lecture talking about attack. I had this idea of maybe one of our characters can attack another character. And this is done different ways in different games, but let's say that in our game, the way that one character attacks another one is we take that character's strength. So in this case, we have Woody on the left, Picky on the right. Woody's strength here is 15. And Woody's going to attack Picky, and Picky's defense is 8. So we want to do something where the higher the second character's defense is, the less damage they take. And so I think a good strategy that we can employ here is to say that the damage that a character takes is whoever's attacking, their strength, or their attack, minus the person being attacked, their defense. So here, Woody's going to swing his axe and attack Picky, and Picky's defense is 8. Woody's kind of strength or attack here is 15, and so the damage done to Picky is 7. Now, as a reminder, this is what our character class looked like. All we really had was this init method that would take a character name, a strength, and defense, and set those as attributes, as instance attributes of our class. Now, at the very end of last lecture, we implemented this logic in just a couple lines here. So you'd create Woody, you'd create Picky, and the damage, as we said, is Woody's strength minus Picky's defense, and then we subtracted that from Picky's health. So yes, 15 minus 8 gives us 7, and so before Picky's health was 100, and now it becomes 93. But this is not ideal, because we have this logic that's very specific to Woody and Picky, and this is the whole reason that we learned about functions. This is exactly where they're applicable, where we have some generic logic that we want to apply to any two characters, not just code for Woody and Picky, and then every time we want to have one character attack another, we have to calculate the difference. This is what functions are for. And so one way we could improve this is by bundling this into a function. Exactly the kind of function that we're used to. And we do that with def attack. And okay, so character 1, character 2. And here we have a docstring to help clarify. Okay, so character 1 is going to be attacking character 2. And just to handle the on the off chance that our defending character, the person being attacked, has higher defense than the attacking character's strength, we will check to make sure that the damage is positive. This difference is positive. And so here we now can call, we have Picky and Woody, and if we do attack Woody Picky, this function will handle decrementing Picky's health by the damage that's done in that attack. This actually already looks not too bad. And it's nice, we can pass in any two characters. But notice a disadvantage of this code that we've written is when you read like attack Woody, comma Picky, who's attacking who? In the docstring, we can tell it says, okay, Woody is attacking Picky. And that's great. But maybe for someone just reading this randomly, it's not super clear. You know, it could be character 2 attacking character 1. And more importantly, this function is so intimately tied to a character, but is defined out in its own kind of place. It's out in the global frame, there's a definition of this function. Even though it's only really relevant to a character, it'd be nice if we could tie it to the character somehow more explicitly. So, can we do better? Certainly by now in the course, you know that the answer will be yes if I ask that question. And this is exactly what class methods are for. We talked about this last time of how a class is a bundle of attributes, which we saw last time are just things that hold data, and also methods. Now these methods are functions that are tied to the class directly. In fact, the way we tie them is by defining the function inside of the class definition. It's not in the global frame, so you just can't call it on its own. It's called specifically using an instance of the class. And this method, class method, will let you operate on, or at least using, with some particular instance of the class that you use to call the method. And so I'll repeat this again, just because you'll hear people say methods and functions. A method is a function that's defined in the class. It's part of a class, and that takes self as an argument, and we'll see this in a second, which lets it operate on a particular instance of that class. Let's see what that looks like. The logic is very similar here, but notice this function is defined inside of the body of our class because it's indented. You can see that. And now we have this attack function, and the first argument is self. And the second argument here is car2. And so you can see that this class method lets us take one instance of a character and let them attack another one. And the logic's the same. Damage equals self.strength, so your strength minus the other person's defense. And if the damage is greater, then you take the other character's defense and you subtract damage from it. Let's look at what this looks like when you call it. Well, now we can see the call to attack for Woody to attack Picky is Woody.attack Picky. Now, which one do you like better? This attack Woody, Picky, or Woody.attack Picky? I think this is actually nicer because it reads more like English. It reads like, okay, Woody is attacking Picky. And the logic now, the logic of our function, is tied very closely to the character. It's implemented in that same class. And so you can see that it's like meant specifically for this character. This logic is all stored together, and so everything's bundled nicely in one place. And now if we had other characters, we could do, okay, Picky.attack Slashy, or some other character, John, comes along, and John.attack Woody. And now it's much easier to have a big kind of logic for a fight scene where we just select the character that we want to attack someone, and we do that character.attack and whoever they're attacking.